Hi, today's lesson is going to be about generating an opinion claim. We are going to talk about who we believe is a change maker. That's your opinion. And your reasons for choosing that change maker is the evidence and reasons. Before we start, I want to make sure everybody is on the third slide that says generating an opinion and claim. Now, I am going to give you a brief overview of what we're going to do today. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Padlet. You're going to click on it. Then you are going to share out what you think a change maker is. Think about the words that make up the word change maker. Share your thoughts in the Padlet. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Then we're going to come back out and we're going to share our thoughts. Then we are going to create sticky notes so that you can take notes while I am reading over an essay about Susan B. Anthony that is my favorite changemaker. So I want you to get used to using examples so you can model those examples in your own essay. Then you're going to do another Padlet and you're going to share out your reasons and evidence or supporting details that you had typed on your sticky note so we can compare and see what kind of ideas that everybody heard. We're going to do that in the same Padlet. Then after we're done with sharing out, then it's your task begins where you are going to come up with 2 change makers and at least 3 or 4 reasons for choosing that change maker. Now, another thing you need to remember, the change maker, it might be a person, it might be a group, or it might be a movement. I'm open to any of those. Then before I'm going to let you actually start working on this, I do want to show you a strategy in case you're stuck, how to Google search important change makers in U.S. history, and then how to look for accomplishments for your change maker. I'm going to show you how to use Explore in Google Slides. So everybody should have a sticky note to start so you can take notes, but I need to show you how to do that first. So we are going to go into where the magnifying glass is, type in sticky notes, and this will come up. So then you're going to right click and you're going to pin it to the taskbar. I already have a sticky note, so I'm not going to click unpin. Then you just have to click out of here, click on your sticky note, and then, so you're ready, type in reasons and evidence. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that. And remember, if you click on it, it goes away. If you click on the icon below, it comes back. So it never totally goes away. Okay, I'm going to go over to the essay. Scroll up a little bit. I'm going to pull up the sticky note again so that you can be writing. And one of the things I want you to do while I read the first paragraph, and this is something you're going to be asked to do in your essay, is to include the definition of the change maker in the first paragraph, possibly in your claim statement. So be thinking about if you see that, okay? So I'm going to start reading about Susan B. Anthony, and you are going to be taking notes about reason and evidence that you hear or see. In the 1800s, women and men of color in the United States did not have the same rights as white men. It was against the law for them to vote, and married women did not have the same rights as their spouses. My favorite changemaker is a woman named Susan B. Anthony, who promoted social change through promoting movements to abolish slavery, allow women and men of color to vote, and to improve rights for married women. These movements included holding protests, marches, and rallies to try and change the Constitution. Along with Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Anthony organized the Women's Loyal National League on May 14, 1863, to campaign for an amendment in the U.S. Constitution to abolish slavery. It was the first national women's political organization in the U.S. It started a drive to collect signatures on petitions to abolish slavery. With nearly 400,000 signatures, it proved to be the largest petition drive in U.S. history till that time and significantly aided the passage of the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which ended slavery in America. Notice the in-text citation, which we will be learning how to do and will be added to your essay in a later lesson. Although the League was disbanded after its purpose was achieved, it gave rise to a new generation of female leaders and activists. Susan B. Anthony is considered the principal organizer of the women's suffrage movement in the U.S. and gave it force and direction for nearly half a century. In May 1890, the National American Women's Suffrage Association was formed, which became the largest and most influential suffrage organization in the United States. Anthony was the dominant figure of the organization. By the time of her death in 1906, women had achieved suffrage in a few states, and several followed soon after. In 1878, along with Stanton, Anthony had arranged for the presentation of an amendment in Congress which gave women the right to vote, popularly known as the Susan B. Anthony Amendment. It later became the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1920, which granted women the right to vote. Again, notice the in-text citation. Anthony and Stanton established a newspaper, The Revolution, which was published weekly between January 8, 1868 and February 17, 1872. It was a radical publication that primarily supported women's rights, especially suffrage. Among other things, it reported on advancements made by women, discrimination against them, and improvements in divorce laws. After a period of reduced activity during the American Civil War, the Revolution brought back women's issues at the forefront again. Now, you should have something typed at this point. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and I am going to read the last part. Apart from her contributions to abolishing slavery and women's suffrage, Anthony worked for several other rights for women, including the right of women to divorce an abusive husband and to have guardianship of her children, working women being paid equal to men, and improved rights for married women. Due to her efforts, an improved Married Women's Property Act was passed in 1860, which gave married women the right to own separate property, enter into contracts, and be joint guardians of their children. However, much of it was rolled back due to the American Civil War. In conclusion, Susan B. Anthony was a change maker because she took risks and promoted change for better social good. She took part in the movements that eventually allowed women to vote, the abolishment of slavery, and improved rights for women. What movement are you interested in joining? Okay, so finish up writing in your details, reasons, evidence. And know that you're going to have to do a works cited, but again, I'm going to show you how to do that later. Something I do want to show you while people are finishing up is if you highlight a word, like if you're not sure what suffrage means, you highlight the word, you go to tools, and then you click on dictionary, and it tells you what it means, the right to vote in political elections. Okay? So we're done with the reading. You should have at least 3. And we're then going to click back onto the Padlet. If your Padlet is still open, that is fine. And you're going to share out the details, the evidence, the reasons that you saw or heard in the Susan B. Anthony essay that I wrote. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. Okay, now we're going to share out what we thought together and look at other people's comments and see if you related to them or it gave you new meaning to what we read. So just think about when you're sharing new information or possibly giving new information to your fellow student. Okay, so the next task that we're going to work on is the brainstorming task. And this is where you're going to fill in the chart of a minimum of 2 change makers. And remember, they can be people, groups, or movements. And then at least three reasons for that particular change maker. Now, I want to give you some hints because some people get stuck. They're not sure. What do I do here? Now, you can either, it's called Explore tool. You can either go here and click on Explore, or there's now this little Explore tab in the lower right-hand corner. When you click on this, remember, you don't want to touch the slides when you're searching. You just want to do the search. Now here, I had said important change makers in U.S. history. So I am going to do important change makers in U.S. history. Now that doesn't mean you can't do the world. If there's somebody else you have in mind, like Gandhi, I'm perfectly okay with that. So then I'm going to click enter, and we're going to click on the web. And now you have all these different websites. Now this is where it's important to have your sticky note up. And I would drag it over here. So here you can pick from the website. Now this is Susan B. Anthony. If you want to do her, you can. Now here's someone you might be interested in, is Harriet Tubman. So I'm just going to copy control. I'm going to go to my sticky note and I'm going to start a new thought idea. And I'm going to copy and paste. And another thing I'm going to remember to do is I'm going to also copy, and I got to call it the sticky note again, and I am going to Control V, and I'm going to paste the website in so that if I want to go back to it, it's going to be super simple. Now, this is all women, so you may not want to go here. So you click out of this one, and then you might go to the next one, and it might have somebody that you're interested in. Now, again, I'm just going to pick somebody because you may or may not want them. I've never heard of this person. He's an oral history project. I don't know. That one doesn't really give me any pizzazz. So then I'm going to go to Revolutionary Change Makers because that one kind of hits me a little bit. And there's Tom Paine. Okay, so I kind of like him. So again, I'm only going to just take a few sentences, Control Copy. I'm going to go back to my sticky note. And again, I am going to copy and paste the URL. Whoops, sorry. I hit the wrong one. Go back to the sticky note. Okay. And so now we don't need that, so you can delete the image. So Tom Paine, I'm going to go back and recopy. Go to the sticky note and then Control V and see how I made sure I had the correct information. It had copied the sticky note, which we didn't want. Okay, so now we know we have this information. We have at least 2. You can keep going. You can, if there's a certain person, like some people like to do Martin Luther King, you can just go ahead and type that in. Some people liked Kobe Bryant. You can just type in the name you're interested in, then fine. But just make sure your sticky note has the name, has a little bit of information so you know what the website contains, and then you have a link to the website. All right, so you can always go back and forth. So that's how you're going to take notes. And then say you want to use Tom Paine, you're just going to put in the name, and then you're just going to type in the reasons that you found when you were researching. Okay? Any questions, please reach out to the teacher. Make sure that if you need clarification, you ask. I'm here to help you. I want you to be successful. I appreciate you working on this, and go for it. You got this. You can do this. Thank you for listening.